And I told them when I left, do not use my music. And of course they used it. Their biggest song, Enter Sandman, go look up the band Excel right now. Look up their song. Pretty similar. We did 2 shows out there, and after those 2 shows, they woke me up one morning and said, look, you're out of the band. And I said, what are you talking about? You're out of the band. I said, no warning? No second chance? You're not going to give me a warning? You're just going to kick me out? And I thought that was unfair. At the time, I was really mad, and I didn't want to forgive them for what they did. And I told them when I left, do not use my music. And of course they used it. They Ride the Lightning I wrote, Call of Cthulhu I wrote. Let's see what else. There's Phantom Lord, Metal Militia, Jump in the Fire, The Four Horsemen.
Jeez.
And I wrote a bunch of Leper Messiah too. They didn't give me credit on that. You listen to the riffs, you know they're my riffs. It's like, boing. You think I'm going to all of a sudden hear my riff and say that's not me? So,
damn.
Yeah, I wrote a lot of their music that made them, and all the solos on that first record were mine. The best Kirk could try and copy them.
Why do you think they singled you out of the bunch?
Because when I got drunk, I got violent. James and I had gone out to a club one time, and it was the old Mabuhay. It was across the street from the Stone, and we were out front, and some guy came out of the alleyway, and he said, there's a guy beating some girl up in the alleyway. And of course, I, being the champion for justice, did not want to hear that and not do anything, so I went down the alleyway with James. And of course, James, not being a fighter, started yelling out, kill him, kill him, kill him. And the guy comes out from behind a van, and he was much bigger than James. And he said, who's going to kill me? And James goes, points to me. So I immediately grabbed the guy and put him down in a submission and started rabbit punching him until he stopped moving. And then we ran out of the alleyway, and we stood out front until the paramedics came. And that was it. So I imagine he saw that, and he figured, you know, I don't want to be part of this. Dave's already beat me up back down in Los Angeles, and he's just too violent.
Damn.
Because James did get a punch in the mouth from me. He kicked my puppy. Yeah, I was selling pot for a living, as you know, so one time I did a concert and people knew I was on stage, so they just jimmied the window. There's nobody there. He took all my pot, and I was pissed. So I got 2 dogs. My nephew took one, and I took the other one. And I had taken her up with me to rehearsal, and she was playing, and she's looking up at me. I'm standing over here. Ron McGovney's got this really nice GTO, and she leans up against the car and puts her paws on the front quarter panel, and he goes, bang, and kicked the dog. And I went, what did you just do? What did you just do? And it went from the front yard into the house, and there's still stuff being said. And I said, you better shut up or I'm going to punch you in the mouth. And then Ron McGovney says, if you hit him, you're going to have to hit me first. And I said, you stay out of it. And then James said the same thing. If you hit him, you're going to have to hit me first. And I said, okay, you win. And bang, I hit James in the mouth. And then I hip tossed Ron into his Intellivision setup. And that was it. 2 strikes, and it was over. And Lars was pulling his hair going, I don't want it to end this way. And I thought, you know what, I've already told you, it's either me or James. And we did that a bunch of times because James was doing stupid stuff. And I told James the same thing. I said, man, it's either me or Lars, because Lars sucks. I went home, and I contacted a friend of mine, and I said I quit. She said, no, you didn't, you got fired. And I said, yeah, I got fired, so I quit, I got fired, whatever. You know, I'm back home. Wrong word. Not changing the outcome, you know. And I made sure not to ever say that I quit, because I wanted people to know that I was unfairly dismissed and that I didn't give a shit. Because we may not be as big as they are. Hell, their biggest song, Enter Sandman, go look up the band Excel right now. Look up their song. I think is something into the unknown. Pretty similar.